Hello and welcome back for a new review. Today we're going to have a retro review. We're going to take a look at the 1977 12-inch Mego Spider-Man. And here he is. Yeah, I normally start out with a packaging, but I just picked this one up off eBay as a loose item, so I don't have the packaging to show you on that. So we'll get right into the figure. So this is the first 12-inch Spider-Man action figure to hit the scene. And again, 1977. This is that version. There is a couple of different versions of the 12-inch Mego Spider-Man. Of course, there's the 8-inch as well. But being a big fan of 12-inch action figures, 1/6 scale action figures, I've always had this guy on the back of my mind. I've always wanted to pick up a Mego 12-inch Spider-Man, being a big Spider-Man fan, and finally did it. Glad that I did. But it's a pretty cool figure, actually. So something from back in 1977, how does it compare? Yeah, it's not dynamic looking by any means when compared to the likes of modern toys, but it's not too bad either. It's pretty cool, really nice piece. So taking a closer look at the head sculpt, you got the sculpted webbing. Would have been kind of cool if they did a black wash to bring out all the web lines, but not a bad sculpt. Very simplistic, of course. That was the time. And you see it says DC Comics. Initially, the brand made DC like Superman and Aquaman, Batman figures. Then they got the Marvel license, but of course they initially posted that it was a DC product. Make sure you can see that. And you can see the date, 1977. Again, this is a used action figure, so it's a little paint scuff. I got to work on getting rid of that. And unfortunately, it does have a little scuff on the eye here, which I may touch that up. I'm not sure if it's worth it as a vintage item, touching it up, but, it is what it is. This one's in actually pretty good shape. Aside from that, the joints are pretty tight. The other issue with this particular one is there's a scratch or a pull along the costume here, but the costume's very vibrant. The colors and everything are pretty crisp. It's not all tattered up. There's just that minor pull and that chip of the eye, and aside from that, the figure's almost like brand new. So I'll give you an overall look. Pretty good shape. And flipping it around to the back, you can see it has the attachment point here, and then there's the spider symbol. You can remove the costume. Not really going to do that. One thing to note, you do see flesh color peeking through there. The 1978 version had a red torso, and it had a bulkier body. This was the original 1977 release. The 1978 release did have a bulkier torso and arms and legs, actually. So they gave it an all new body. This is the original. I do have the 78 version coming, so stay tuned for that review. In terms of articulation for this guy, he has, I believe, 14 points of articulation. So the head is on a swivel. The arms can go forward, back, and out. You got a single elbow bend. You got a wrist swivel and also a hinge. The waist has a ball joint, so it can pivot forward, back, side to side, and also twist. Legs can move forward and out. Knee is on a single joint, and then the ankle is also on a hinge. So not terrible articulation, not amazing, but certainly pretty decent articulation. Alright, size comparison time. Here we see the Mego Spider-Man next to the Marvel Legends 12-inch Spider-Man. and the Hot Toys Amazing Spider-Man figure, just to give you an idea on the scale. He is 12 and a half inches tall, so he's a little bigger than your average 1/6 scaled figure, you know, so it's most are 12 inches. He's about 12 and a half, so I'd say he's probably slightly oversized, but he can certainly be mixed into a 1/6 scale collection. Alright, and here's another little size comparison. Here we see the Mego Spider-Man next to the Captain Action Spider-Man. That was the re-release. And the Gentle Giant Jumbo 12-inch remake Rock and Roll. So, just thought that might help to gauge the scale of the Mego figure. Alright, so final thoughts on the Mego 12-inch Spider-Man. I'm really glad that I finally picked this up. I think it's a really cool piece of action figure history, and being one of the original 12-inch Spider-Man figures, something that I really enjoy having in my collection. He kind of looks like a guy in Spider-Man pajamas, but it's kind of the charm. I mean, you know, you're buying a vintage action figure because, you know, it holds some sort of meaning. I didn't have this as a kid, obviously, but I like the charm of the figure. You know, obviously I have Hot Toys and Marvel Legends and all these other cool action figures in my collection, and I didn't buy this to top them. I bought it because I enjoy the idea of the vintage action figure. And it's still in the same scale that I like best. It's a really cool purchase for me. And it's actually still kind of a pretty cool figure, you know, all in all. Pretty good articulation. A nice classic representation of Spider-Man. So it's really cool. If you're a vintage collector, you know, this is something that you'd probably want in your collection, especially if you're a big fan of Spider-Man. Just a really cool collectible piece of history. So that's it, guys. That's a look at the 1977 12-inch Mego Spider-Man. Again, I do have another version, the 78 version, so we'll take a look at that when that shows up. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching.